Okay, welcome. This is a brief video on how to acquire and install Visual Studio. Now, there's lots of different versions of Visual Studio. There's a community edition out there that anyone can go get, and it's free. The university has 2015, Visual Studio 2015 installed on its computers in the classroom. But if you're going to take the time and energy to download Visual Studio, I'd recommend you go ahead and just get the full version, the current version, which is Visual Studio 2017. So, to start with, before you can do any install, you have to actually get the software, right? All right, so here's how it works. You're a student, so you go down to the computer lab. That's on the first floor in Warrior Hall, and you talk to the person at the desk, and they'll fill out a form, and then that basically says, I'm a student in good standing, and I need this software. The thing you're after is what's called either DreamSpark or Imagine. It used to be called DreamSpark, but it's now called Imagine. It's the same thing. They just changed the name to protect the innocent. So you get an Imagine account. So a couple of days later, you get an email basically saying your account's been built. Here's your account name and your password, and you're good to go. So that I'm going to pick up basically where that stops off. So I'm going to start up here, and I'm going to type in Microsoft Imagine. Okay, so I'm at Imagine, and one of the things I need to do is I need to get to our Imagine site, not just the generic Imagine site. I need to get to ours. So I'm going to go here to where it says Access Subscriptions, and scroll down here and type in our name. So we are Texas A&M. Actually, you can get about that far that you can find it on the list. And there's a gazillion of these things, so make sure you get the right one. Here it is, Central Texas one. Okay. So I just want to go directly to that web store. Ta-da! Wait for a second to let it come up. Okay. Loading. Cool. So one of the things I want to do is I want to go to probably, here it is right here. Visual Studio Enterprise 2017. Sounds good to me. It basically says I want to add this to my cart. That's what I want, So basically, I'm ready to rock and roll. You type in your username and password. That's the thing that you got from them. I'm not going to do that now because it's going to take too long to do. So now you've clicked the button, you've signed in, and you've downloaded what's called an ISO file. And an ISO file is basically a sort of like an image of a CD-ROM. So I'm going to assume that you've already done that. Okay, so you've downloaded the file, and this turned out to be not an ISO file. It turned out to be a normal exe file. So let's just double click on it to install it, and we'll follow the prompts. Okay, I want to continue. I'm probably going to speed up bits and pieces of this video just because it's kind of boring to watch things move on the screen. Okay, now this part's a little weird because it allows you to install chunks of the application. And so I'm going to go in and say I want to do the normal kinds of things. And this is kind of weird. I'm going to say, yeah, I'll take the top three here, where we do Universal Platform, we do .NET, we do C++, and I'm even going to throw in another one down here for doing Python, just because most likely if you're going to be in the university, you're probably going to end up doing Python again. There's some more stuff about web development, so I'm going to go ahead and just click on that. And so all the rest of these things, there's lots of other things in here, but quite frankly, we don't need those. So there's no need installing them. So one more time, the normal Windows platform, the .NET platform, the C++, I throw in the web stuff, and then Python, which quite frankly is kind of optional, but what the heck. So let's hit install. Okay, and through the magic of video editing, that didn't take very long at all, but in reality it took, in my case, 15 minutes and 58 seconds. So, I plan accordingly. Okay, now it says to reboot my machine, so I guess that's what I'll do. I'm going to pause this too because it takes too long. Okay, my machine is rebooted and I'm ready to rock and roll. So I'm going to click on Visual Studio, and you know, sometimes you might think it'd be under W for Windows, you know, or Microsoft, but it's under V for Visual Studio. Now, the very first time you install this, it takes kind of a long time, and it's going to ask you for a prompt, so you have to pay attention. Now it's saying, do I want to sign in? And maybe this is just me, but I always say no. So I'm going to go down here where it says not now, maybe later, because and next thing it's going to ask is, you know, what colors do you want? I'm just going to take the default. I don't care about that. Now this takes a minute. I don't really know why it takes a minute, but the first time you run this, it just takes a minute. Okay, and ta-da, we're up and running. There's one more task we need to do that's kind of weird, and that is we haven't really registered this version. Now it'll run for like 30 days before you run out, but if you go here and go to the About screen, it's going to tell you that your license status is currently not. So one of the things you can do is you can sign in to do that, although I don't recommend it. I'd rather do it with unlock with a product key. So when you downloaded the software the first time, they had this gargantuan key. That's what you use. You click there, punch that in, and then from that on, you're good to go. Okay, I hope you enjoyed this short tutorial on how to install Visual Studio. And I'll see you guys again in some future video.